All right.
Welcome to the 55th episode of Trolling HGC. I believe we're live. I'm not sure. The countdown stopped at 3. So this is a Heroes of the Storm podcast focused on eSports, a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Bahgz, and joining me tonight, as always, is my good buddy GOON. What's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot, man. What's happening? What's happening, everybody? I lost a bunch of points in Hero League today, and I also lost my sanity just playing Heroes of the Storm. So
full tilt. As well, we've got fellow troll and co-host of the Nexus Trolls, Soken, who is fresh back from the Western Clash. What's going on, my man?
Fresh and tired. Yeah, I'm good. Just recovering, for me, I had to drive all the way up there, so that's like a 2-hour drive for me from San Diego. But it was worth it. Good experience.
You got to tell me about the arena. Is it fantastic? Is it awful? Is it amazing?
Okay, I'll tell you the best things and the worst. The best and the worst thing. The best thing.
Okay.
Probably just the arena itself is like really, really nice. It's like almost like a movie theater style, where like you have kind of the front section and then like it goes up at a slant, but the thing is, the front seats there are not the best, but the ones going up are pretty nice. But still, overall, really, really nice arena, really organized, and really enjoyed that.
It looked like it was smaller than what we saw from Overwatch League. Like, did they?
I know it does, doesn't it? But no, it's actually I think it's deceivingly big in the sense that you see it on the camera and it's like kind of looks small, but no, it's pretty nice.
About how many people like does it seat?
Oh, I can't tell you that. I don't know. Let's see. If I'm guessing like 20, let's say 25 people per row, and there's approximately 15 rows. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of rows going up that slant. So
yeah,
whatever that is, over 250 people.
My thing is they keep using the same props, I guess you would say, that they from the original Heroes of the Dorm, right? Like the same setup. And I just wish, like, for Overwatch League, they have that giant jumbotron, like the wraparound screen thing, like, and like you zoom into the map, like,
yeah,
it's pretty freaking sweet. And for Heroes, I'm not sure how you would implement that, but the fact that just wasn't even used just feels like a missed opportunity.
Wait, jumbotron? There was a big screen there. Is that what you mean?
Yes. No. They have that big square screen in the middle, and that's all well and good. But
the cube
in Overwatch League, there's like it's literally like a wrap around screen that goes. You feel like you're immersed in the map. I don't know how to explain it. They only use it, like that big portion of it, in the beginning when they're zooming into the match, but not used at all. What they had behind them was just kind of like the mini screens behind the players.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like the typical Heroes thing, right? You got
it's the same layout.
Yeah, it's always the same for every tournament, like, for sure. I see what you're saying.
You hear that, Blizzard? Spice it up. I don't want to go to BlizzCon and see the same thing. I want to see StarCraft 2 like thing where they had like remember when they used to have like the boxes, and then it's like, oh, if you're playing Zerg, like the entire box that the guy was sitting in turned into like a Zerg thing.
It was like creep spreading everywhere along
creep
the
spread. Yeah.
That was cool, actually. That was one of the coolest things I've seen. Yeah. All right, and then the worst. So the best was kind of like just the arena itself. The worst was the food. The food was god awful.
The food was bad? What?
Blizzard, step up your food game. That was garbage.
Whoa. Hang on.
What?
I need details on the food. What happened?
All right, bro. Look. I'm a relatively healthy eater, right? If I was at all allergic to gluten, if I would, like my girlfriend, she's allergic to gluten. If I was at all allergic to gluten and could not have wheat products, I couldn't eat anything there. Donuts, nachos, pre-made crappy sandwiches. The only relatively healthy thing there was little fruit bowls. Like, that's it.
For $20.
And soda and energy drinks. It's like, dude, I had to go across the street to get actual food. And I was like scared I would lose my seat, type of thing. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm down for some nachos, but that's just me. Like I'm like the huge garbage can. So
I'm okay
Yeah,
with
but-
nachos too if they're good quality.
Are you good for with nachos for over 12 hours of hots?
well, I don't know. We'll figure that out.
That's
as long as I
true.
got hamburgers, would be alright. All right. I think that's fair. I think that Blizzard, they've got this new state of the art arena that they just unveiled last year. I think that's fair. I think that they gotta up their food game. There should be more offerings than what you just listed to me.
I mean, so it's not even that, right? It's like you can't. The rule is that you can't bring in your own food. So it's like I can't bring my own food, so I have to eat what's there if I want to stay there. That's why it's bad. But
and then it's their stale ass nachos and their donuts. Yeah, okay, fair enough. No pizza, nothing like no burgers.
Not that I saw, man. I looked at this little menu and I was like, damn.
No chicken
That
nuggies.
sucks. No chicken nuggies.
No good boy. What is it called? Good boy. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good. All right. GOON. You know what's really nice?
Oh boy, I don't know. What's really nice, Bahgz?
GOON, the Trolls.gg community is so generous to donate their money to our cause over the last couple of years, helping us provide more content for the Heroes community.
Oh, this is where I say, really? Wow, that sounds awesome. How can I get involved? I love the Trolls.gg shows.
Well, GOON, if you type www.patreon.com/trollsgg into your preferred web browser, you'll be brought to the Trolls.gg Patreon page, where you can find all of the Trolls.gg reward goals and various patron tiers.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah! All right, no, but seriously, guys, if you're interested in helping the Trolls.gg community grow, check out our Patreon page over at patreon.com/trollsgg. And starting at just $1 a month, we've got several reward tiers available for you to choose from. So you can choose the amount that fits your budget. As we progress, we'll unlock more content. Currently, we're at $105 a month out of $150 towards our third goal, which is the call-in show. Actually, I think that's out of date. I need to update that. No, I'll have to check the page, though, because I don't remember what the next goal is. Anyways, now the Patreon's out of the way. GOON, who's this week's Troll of the Week?
This week's Troll of the Week is a literal troll. He goes by the name of Fringe Average. Nah, he's been working on Bush League stuff, promoting it and being involved with it. He's playing in it as well, but he's always looking to take it to the next level to improve the league and as well as feed. And we all appreciate the good feeding he provides for us. So
Lots of epic feeds.
I love how this Bush League kind of just evolved from Fringe was going to start a chair league team, and then there was going to be 2 chair league teams. And then it was like, we've got so many people interested in this chair league team that we're just going to start our own league. And then Bush League was born,
yeah.
Daz got together and Daz and Fringe kind of worked together and got it started. And now Fringe is pretty much the brainchild behind it. So kudos to him. I'm in it this year as well, or this season as well. And it's a lot of fun. Except for losing. That part sucks. Anyway. Moving on to the Trolls.gg news, I want to mention again, I mentioned it 2 weeks ago on the show, is the August muster for the Trolls.gg community. Just a reminder, guys, we have our second game night coming up on the 24th this month. Various games are going to be played, probably Heroes, Fortnite, maybe some Battle for Azeroth, leveling, I don't know. I also want to mention that because of this muster, we've acquired a brand new war chief in Steel Condor. So welcome to the Troll Army, friend.
Cool.
Yes. Now, unless I'm missing something, and I don't think I am, did any other news drop off the top of your guys' head this past week? I don't believe anything did. No.
As far as Here's the Storm or just like anything?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, actually.
Uh-oh.
Soken hit me up earlier saying that there is a Quacknix tweeted something out, right? Saying that there's
no tweet. It was on his stream earlier.
Oh, it was on his stream. Okay. That there's
Ooh.
gonna be some news regarding a sponsor.
Yeah, so he didn't say what, but he just said, "Hey." At first, it was an announcement of an announcement, right? He's like, "Hey guys, this weekend I'm going to announce something," and then everyone kept bugging him. "Hey, what's this announcement? What's this announcement? What's this announcement?" Because people come in the stream, they see the title, ask the same question. He's like, "Okay, guys, look, I have a sponsor announcement," and then that's all he would say. So this weekend we're going to hear. I'm hoping what the Zealots will be, who they will be sponsored by.
Hashtag last place team still gets sponsored. Love it.
Hey, anything can happen, right? I mean,
no, there's so many more factors involved in that. I just wanted the tongue in cheek, poke a little fun, last place team.
What I want to know, and I guess we can get into this later, but I'm gonna just drop a little teaser.
Okay.
Is Leftovers gonna get a nice little sponsor after this performance?
I have a feeling that a lot of teams are getting offers right now. I think it kind of sucks for Blizzard in a way because they do all the in-game assets for all the cheers, and so every time, like, I've already cheered for so many teams. Like every time teams make plays, I donate bits just to like show them appreciation. And I just did that for the Western Clash today, and like so Team DJ, right? That was Michael Udall's team. Just got finally the assets for Endemic are now on Twitch and I think in game. And Gen G just got it in game because they were KSV before, and now it's like, oh man, all these other teams, they're gonna get sponsorships, and then all the in-game stuff still needs to be redone again. It's
well,
like,
good,
dang,
Blizzard, get on it.
You know what? I don't feel bad for them at all because they need all the sponsorships.
Yeah, true. It's not like a big problem. It's just more work for them, less time that they put into potentially new stuff for us.
I don't know. I think Blizzard. Hey, if it's happening and it's happening right now, make it happen right now. No, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait a whole year.
How hard can it be? It's just a little copy pasta GIF into some.
Yeah, how hard can it possibly be?
And it's good to go, right? Like,
hey Blizzard, hire Bahgz. He can do all this for you.
All right. Let's talk about the Western Clash. Let's move forward. I want to move forward by going backwards, and let's talk about this past weekend where we saw the 4 best teams from EU and North America duke it out in a double elimination tournament at the first Western Clash on North American soil in Burbank, California. The tournament was held, we've already mentioned this, in the new Blizzard Arena that debuted last year and hosted the inaugural season of Overwatch League this year. Soken, you attended the tournament, first as a fan, and second as like the Trolls.gg feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, outside of like how awesome the venue was and the bad food, is there anything else you want to add to your experience at this tournament?
I mean, just wow! I met so many people this weekend. I did as.
Is that why you got sick? Is that why Justine got sick too?
I wasn't.
I want the down low.
I wasn't sick, so I made the mistake of driving up Friday morning at 4 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m., left 5 a.m., got there at 7:30, something like that. And then I was up till like 10, I got home at like 11 that night. And so the next day I had to wake up again to get, the doors open at 8 a.m. So I had to get there again by 8 a.m., which means I'm like up at 6:30ish eating breakfast. I got up at 6:30, man. I had the biggest headache on Saturday morning. I couldn't get out of bed. I seriously could not. So it's kind of my bad. But I watched it all basically in bed as I was just like, my head was pounding and I was just like, what's happening? So I could go back on Sunday and like know what's going on,
It was the nacho. It was the nachos confirmed.
It was the nachos. It was 100% the nachos. Damn nachos. Did you have the opportunity to like bump into players or anything like that? Shake some hands, like kiss some babies, sign some things?
I actually have so many selfies with so many community people
Really?
Both well known and not as well known potentially, like more behind the scenes people for a lot of stuff. There was a lot of Heroes Hype people there. I got my my little Heroes Hype sticker. Thank you.
Event member.
Yeah. Thank you. That Mantis. Shout out to
2018.
Mantis. Good guy, Mantis. And let's see. Yeah, so I got a lot of selfies. I was on like a selfie journey. Let me see. Maybe I could show you. At least, let me see. Hold on. This is probably the most like crazy one right here. I don't know if you guys can see this on stream, but that's Gilly.
Oh yeah.
GillyWeed.
Who's that?
Oh, I see it.
Who's
Wow.
that? Who's that good-looking man in the middle?
Oh, you know, right here. I'm gonna take off this hat, give you the real identity. And that other girl in the picture was Zombie Grub. She's actually a caster for StarCraft 2.
Oh wow, she was there.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn, what are you doing here? Because she was like by herself, and it was all heroes people, and I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? What are you doing here? Like I had met her before at a previous BlizzCon, and then she was like, oh, it's after WCS stuff, and I'm hanging out with Gilly. So then I was like, hey, I'll talk to Gilly, and so I talked to Gilly, got the selfie and stuff. So
Base Trade TV, right?
Sweet,
That's where she's from.
I don't know that she does stuff with them now, but she's not like. She used to be like 100% them. Now she's like kind of doing her own thing too.
Right on. Cool.
But
Nice,
yeah, lots of people I met, a lot of hero site people, a lot of good people overall. So pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I'll never forget like the first BlizzCon I went to. I didn't really bump into too many players or like community members, and I was just like a player then. I wasn't actually like a content creator at the time or anything like that. And then last year when we went, and I bumped into so many different people. Like we ran into Solid Jake, and like Jake knew who I was, which was like mind-boggling. He's like, "Oh yeah, how's your show going?" And, I remember when we were starting out, and I was like, "Oh, it's going, it's a thing."
Oh, nice.
And,
He recognized you?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Jake was a great guy. Like, and we had a long conversation. Like, we talked about Smash. He's a big Smash fan, and like I played the shit out of Smash in high school, like the shit out of Smash in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about stuff like that. And he's from like a very rural area in Connecticut, and I'm from a rural area in New York. So we had that conversation and stuff. Just talking about like how amazing it was when high-speed internet showed up to the Outlands, like
The Outlands.
and like stuff like that. Like like we didn't have high-speed internet until my senior year of high school, when it was like common everywhere else, So
Wow.
long story short, it was just nice, like guys like that. And like I bumped into Bakery, like who was talking to Jake at the time, and Bakery was very like, "Oh, you guys want to take a picture?" Like we didn't even ask it. We're like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to." So we got a picture. Me and the girl got a picture with Bakery and Jake. It was just really nice, like bumping into people like that who are really friendly, and like you wouldn't think that, but just everyone was. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was just no one was too big to talk to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
So.
I mean, honestly, the coolest thing about being in the heroes community is every single person is open to talking to you. Like, it's like how it was with StarCraft. It feels like almost the same thing. Like, I could go up to any single person that I know from a stream or a personality or whatever and talk to them. I talked to a Tetcher. I talked to Caldor. I talked to, like I said, Gilly. I talked to a lot of the pro players at the end, at the last day. I was talking to Team Freedom guys. I was talking to Goofy, the general manager for Team Freedom. I was talking to a lot of the Heroes Hype people are super chill. They're all about the social stuff. We were all hanging out. Cat Peach was there. I got to meet Cat Peach in person. She's freaking awesome. She was like my I don't want to say like wing woman because I'm taken, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was hanging out with her a lot of the time.
She was your liaison, right? Like, hey, let's go say hi to so and so. Okay,
Yes. So yeah, Cat Peach and I have a lot in common too. Like I found out we're both basically software people. Like so, our jobs are very similar. And
wait a minute, it's not just copy paste the GIF into some code.
There is, well, for what we do, it's not GIFs, sir. Life is not made of memes and GIFs.
Is it a JPEG?
Life is the meme.
Is it a JPEG? Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love the HOTS community. It's so cool. It's really, really awesome to actually see everyone in person and see them in their natural habitat.
Wow. My description of the HOTS community is it's a very small but passionate crowd that is all kind of fighting for the same thing, which is to grow and make the community help make the community thrive. So we're all kind of on the same team in that respect. So it's nice.
For sure, I would agree with that.
Now, let's take a look at the actual results. We're going to kind of take a look at each team by team. We'll go in order of the results, and we'll talk about them a little bit here. So first up is Dignitas. Dig won without dropping a single map for the entire tournament. They went 11-0, which actually 12-0 if you count the freebie in the grand final. Often on Twitter, I saw this weekend they were compared to a 2-syllable Korean team that we know that rhymes with Wendy. And and I wanted to ask you guys, are those comparisons accurate or are they disrespectful to Gen G? Because it seemed like a big portion of the Heroes fan base, like after they saw like a couple of prominent community, like prominent like Twitter or prominent players or casters saying that on Twitter, a lot of the community members were like, "No way, they're nothing compared to Gen G." So
I don't know
what you guys think, because
I don't know about all that.
And taking some names.
I mean,
that seems a little. People like to compare things, but you know.
So was it just like a lot of hyperbole, like, "Oh, these guys are the best in the world"?
Dignitas literally like went toe to toe with Gen G, and like they could have won that. They could have won that mid-season brawl. Like they obviously know each other. They obviously bring out the best and the worst in each other, and they know they study each other. You better believe Gen G is studying Dignitas, and Dignitas is studying Gen G. Like, all the time.
Yeah!
You know, like
they're like frenemy. They're like frenemies, dude. I saw that. Like, what was it? Snitch. I think he's in Korea right now. I don't know why, but I saw he was. With,
he is in
Rich
Korea
right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but hey, whatever. So he's hanging out with Rich right now.
He's probably there to watch the Eastern Clash or something. It's in Korea, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's exactly what he's there for, probably, because that's this weekend. That's in South Korea this time around.
Dang, talk about the jet lag on that kid.
I know. To the U.S. from Europe, and then to.
He's all hopped up on Mountain Dew and nachos. He's fine.
Yeah,
he's the good. Buffalo Wild Wing nachos and some Mountain Dew.
Yep, exactly. Next up, and this one I think is really interesting, is the Leftovers. They got second place. They were the big surprise of the tournament, the biggest, I would say. Is like Mopsio is just straight up, he is the king of the losers bracket at this point, right? Because this is the second clash in a row. He's come from the lower bracket to compete in the grand finals. He even beat his friend and mentor ADRD with the reverse against method. Like, kudos to Mopsio for just getting the damn job done. Like wow. Yeah, like what happened with that? How did the Leftovers go from being the number 4 team in Europe to the second place team at this clash?
Dude, it was just wild to me because Leftovers, it was really weird. They started off the tournament really badly. They lost right away, I think. They
won their first match against Heroes Hearth, but they did lose their second matchup.
That was it, yeah. So they let me see here. Hold on, sorry. I forget exactly how it went. So yeah, they won versus Heroes Hearth, which was super weird also, by the way. Like, Leftovers was not playing particularly good in that series. It was not something that was like out of the ordinary. Heroes Hearth just kind of lost. Like, they just lost it for themselves. Really, there's no explanation there. And then they just, Team Freedom then just outplayed them with some really good drafts in the second one. They go down to the lower bracket, and I didn't see this part. This was on Saturday, but they, I didn't see it live, but they beat Team Octalysis pretty handily. And after that, like you're saying, like the ADRD thing, that was the best series. That was the most, like, just insane series, I would say, almost of the whole tournament, honestly.
I think I would agree. I didn't catch as much of the tournament as I would have liked, but I did catch this series, and I would agree. Like, when they were down 2-0, I was like, all right, well, this is over. You just kind of like talent, kind of just be like Leftovers were there. These plucky little underdogs, but at this point, it was kind of like they're running the method, and it was just talent was going to overtake them, right? And somehow Leftovers fought back down 2-0, and it was just an incredible series. I agree.
Dude, you could see it. And I, to be honest, after game 3, when Method lost their first, they lost their first match in the series, the tilt face, you could see the tilt face. Like you see, like Bad Benny, I don't know if it's Bad Benny or what, but just the whole team just gets this face because they've been a team before. They were not Method, sorry, was
formerly Team Expert.
Yeah, they were Expert before. Then they came back. Now they're Team Method after they split up for a little bit. Came back, and it's like they have the same. I feel like the same problem, like the same issues still exist. Their drafts are getting better. Their gameplay is getting better, which is nice. But when they're doing bad, they tilt off the face of the earth and then they don't come back. That's just like how I feel about it. Like I think you could even see that in the bracket, right? Like Team Dignitas 3-0'd them. And they just kind of like memed that series after the first 2 games. The third game was a meme. Like then they 3-0'd Heroes Hearth. Everything's fine there. And then they're up 2-0, lose a game. Reverse sweep complete. Like what? I don't know.
No, that was one of my questions for later when we got to Method, and like, is that what happened, or did Leftovers just outplay them? And I would agree to a degree. Like it's just there's something, nobody's like foolproof against this. There's something to be said for like when you're the favorite team, when you're the team that like you're up 2-0 and you should be winning, and then like I don't know, a couple things go south, go sideways, they don't go the way you expect against an inferior opponent. It's aggravating. Yeah. And
they could have won too that third game. It wasn't like they were losing the whole time. They were going to win and then messed up and then lost.
And there it is. A tough loss is like the most like that is how you get that'll put you on full tilt. And unfortunately, it seems like that affected them the next 2 maps. And
not to take anything away from Leftovers, obviously, right?
No, because they again, like you said, they played incredible. And right after that, I want to mention this too. So earlier in the tournament, Leftovers lost to my Team Freedom 3-1. But kudos to Leftovers because in the losers final, when they faced Team Freedom again,
crushed.
After having that previous series of experience against Team Freedom,
crushed,
destroyed them.
3-0 sweep.
Although the games were interesting, the games were fun and interesting, but they weren't really that close.
So, and I guess we can move on here. We'll move on to Freedom now. Do you think? And we'll go backwards. It's do you think this was a case of, and this is my opinion, this is a case of Leftovers played them in the first series and kind of figured out what they wanted to do and just made the adjustment and just really like, it's kind of like a one-trick pony getting figured out, you know?
Oh, is that what I think happened?
Well, I guess my question is, do you think Leftovers made the adjustment based on the previous series against Team Freedom and just crushed them because of it? Found what they were doing well or what they were weak against and just really stuck it to them.
Honestly, I just think Leftovers was they were having fun.
Dude, yeah.
To another level.
Yeah, they were just having fun. Their mindset was in the game, was in the tournament, was there, enjoying the moment, enjoying the interviews, enjoying just the whole experience. And they were like, we're just going to keep playing our game. We're just going to keep doing our thing, and we're just going to have a blast with it. Because everybody, like, there's a lot of hype here. And they took that hype, and they just applied it to themselves.
Wait a minute. I'm pretty sure you just described how McIntyre described Heroes Hearth when he was on the show.
The whole momentum, the hype, and everything like that?
No, just we're going to play our game, we're going to have fun with it, and do our thing, and we're going to win some games. Except that didn't happen.
Which we can get we'll get into later. We can get into that a little bit later. But I mean, Leftovers, they just like Mopsy like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and the rest of his team's like, okay, we're right behind you. We're having a good time.
That is so cool to see, right? It's just so cool to see the team just they gel together. Like they are a good team together. They listen to each other. They feed off of each other, and they don't let tilt affect them. And that's why they won versus method. Like, no matter how down and out they seemed, right? That they're down 0-2, they're able to say, we're going to try our best. We're going to play this game plan. Let's play it out. Boom. They're listening to each other in comms. Mopsio even said live on stage, like after one of his wins, he's like, yeah, we're a very vocal team. We're talking all the time about what's happening in the game. And so they're just, it is so nice to hear that communication is working out, that they are just having fun and playing their game. And when it comes to the Team Freedom set, I do think that there was some stuff figured out. There was a Samuro ban from Team Leftovers. So I mean, you can kind of see that from their first series. It did affect their second series. They're
right.
like, oh, the Samuro could be picked here, so we should probably ban it out just in case. Which is a huge like ego booster to Nasmus, right? Like Nasmus has got to feel great that he got a Samuro ban. That's pretty sick. So yeah, it's really awesome seeing Leftovers do really well. I'm a huge Mopsio fan. After he kind of dealt with a lot of his personal issues, which I still have to watch the Caldor interview thing that he did with Mopsio. They go into that stuff, so I don't know exactly what it was, but he went through some personal issues and came back from that. And ever since then, I've been a huge fan of his mentality, of his positivity. He's no longer Toxio. People that say Toxio, get that out of here, man. This guy is a completely different person now, and he's doing great things. I'm just super, super big fan. Oh, actually, hold on one second. I'll be right back. You guys can keep talking.
Okay. I want to ask you, Goon, do the Leftovers suffer a similar letdown, like a hangover, so to speak, that like the Zealots saw post Clash? Or do they take this as a springboard opportunity and really use it to help them climb the standings in EU HGC?
I think they honestly will climb the standings. I mean, they're a good team. They listen to each other. They perform well together. They made it to this Clash, and from the losers bracket, made it to second place. They know what they are capable of, and they're gonna keep grinding. They work hard, they study hard, they play hard, and the results show. I'm a Linked fan now.
Of course you are. Support God.
Okay, yeah, he's a. I just liked his interviews. He was like, I was having fun. This is awesome. You know, like you could see it. Like he was just all smiles the whole time. Like, yeah, and it's nice to. It feels good when you're winning, but I think just in general that whole experience was just so positive for them, win or lose. Like,
so this is what I went to get. I got this in. They were handing this out at the finals. So it says Mopsio on it. I know it's like reversed right now or whatever.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Is it? Is it good?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, so yeah, it says it's an official one too. Like they didn't give you things to write on, so I couldn't make my own custom stuff. But they had this in the finals, so that was pretty cool. I got it for a souvenir. So.
Good for you. That's
Mopsio's #1 fan right here.
Oh god.
So moving on from the Leftovers, I want to talk a little bit about Team Freedom. Team Freedom was the only North American team to finish in the top 4. They scored the big upset against LiQuiD and then defeated the Leftovers in the upper bracket semis. I understand I'm a huge Team Freedom homer, but I do have a few reservations about their results. LiQuiD obviously played very poorly, and the Leftovers coming into this tournament were the 4th best team from EU to qualify. So was this kind of like a stroke of luck for Team Freedom? Like they happened to catch a LiQuiD that was not performing well, and the Leftovers before they caught fire, and arguably, the weakest of these 4 European teams on average. Was it a case of that, and that was really where Team Freedom found their success, or was it Team Freedom that found it elsehow, just played really well? What do you guys?
I think team. I honestly, no memeing here, and like I was just going with my heart. I honestly believe that Team Freedom was going to do the best out of all the North American teams. This is a roster that has been together for a long time. They work hard. They grind. I'm not saying no other team, no other players. You know, I'm saying other players don't work hard. But like as a team, as a unit that has been together as long as they have, and to kind of be the worst of the best of the middle of the pack kind of team. The way that the players individually carry themselves, and for the most part, and talk about the game, just talk to people, like their mindset going into this. It was very what's the word I'm looking for here? It was very refreshing to kind of see from NA. I feel like those players are pretty open. You ask them questions, they'll be open with it, you know, with whatever. I don't feel like there's like any sort of facade. What you see is what you get with Team Freedom and the players. And as a team, yeah, obviously they have some things they need to work on, but out of all the NA rosters that were there, I feel like those guys were probably the most team. Like they felt like a real team more so than the other players that were there, the other teams that were there. But that's just my opinion. I'm just feeling vibes.
My favorite takeaway from the Team Freedom we saw at Western Clash was Lutano's PogChamp intro for the matches.
That was so funny. Dude, that was so good.
I like June's. Yeah. I like June. He was my favorite with the bananas.
Lots of creativity going on. I love it.
And on a serious note, I was reading on Reddit, and a lot of the guys were saying that the success was due in large part from scrimming Dignitas. Now, do you think that kind of substantiates the results that we saw? Do you think that had a factor to play?
Yeah.
Or because I'm sure from Dignitas's perspective, it was like, all right, well, these guys really aren't a threat to beat us, so these are like it's a safe team to learn some NA strats and scrim against. And then from Freedom's point of view, it's like it's a great way to learn EU, but you know we're probably not going to be Dig, so you know, and they're such a arguably the best team in the world. Like it's a great team to scrim. You know, you can learn a lot from it. So I would agree if that's the case. If they really did scrim Dig a lot, then kudos to them because it worked and it went a lot better than it did last time because the last clash was embarrassing.
Well, according to them, according to the team themselves, they just said they threw the last Western Clash. They just threw the games. They made lots of bad mistakes, and that to them that's what they saw as the problem, which is a good mentality to have. A lot of the other pros though were saying that going into the last Western Clash, the NA meta was actually superior at that time to the EU meta. And what they did was that Team Freedom scrimmed a lot of the EU teams.
Yeah, they were the only team
adopted their meta, which then screwed them over because it made their drafts inferior. And so that also partially contributed. Of course, even with a inferior draft, you can still make plays, you can still win the game, but it becomes sometimes a lot harder at the pro level. So I do think that it was a mixture of things. They didn't just throw the first Western Clash. But this one they did, I think you're like what you're saying, they did the right thing. They scrimmed the right teams, stuck with their guns in terms of their comfort heroes. I think that was a big one.
Yeah.
Forcing bans on Medivh. You banning out Yoda's Medivh every single game so that he can't play that hero was clutch.
It's like you said, it's they were the only North American team to go to Europe for that first clash and boot camp, and it was really depressing as a Team Freedom fan to see them flame out of that one. So I'm really happy that they bounced back in this one. Part of me, and I think it's the pessimist in me, it's the New York Mets fan in me that's like, well, they only won because they caught LiQuid when they were playing poorly, and there's a part of me that doesn't want to give them the credit that they're due, even as a fan. I don't know why. But I'm really happy to hear that both of you disagree with me and think that they played incredibly well. And I want to ask you though the same thing I asked about Leftovers. What do you see on the horizon for Team Freedom come part 2 of Phase 2 here?
I honestly think they can take this momentum. Yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't win, but a lot of the momentum and the knowledge that they gained at this tournament and really make strides in the regular season. Look at what Heroes Hearth is coming off of. Look at what Tempo Storm is coming off of. Octalysis, like this was a tough tournament for those teams. They had expectations for themselves and things didn't work out. You look at Team Freedom, they probably yeah, I'm sure they had some expectations for themselves, but they also probably went in just, hey, we're just gonna play and see what's up, and then they got the result that they got. That's a pretty large motivating factor, if you ask me, to just perform even better in the regular season against teams that you can beat, that are coming off these tough losses. So
I'm glad that you mentioned mentioned how some of these teams are going to be disappointed coming home, because this kind of brings up my next point. I feel like there's a line drawn in the sand here right after Freedom where every single team that did not finish in the top three is kind of disappointed with their results. I think Method expected to do a lot better. I think it's fair to say, obviously, Heroes Hearth expected to do a lot better. LiQuid expected to do a lot better. Tempo Storm. The only exception maybe is Octalysis. But even then, I'm sure that they felt that they should have done better. Obviously, competition it's a zero-sum game. There are going to be teams that win, and there are going to be teams that lose, and the losers are always going to be disappointed. And I feel like Method is where that disappointment starts. Method, outside of their loss to LiQuid in week 5, were a team that was coming into this tournament very hot. They were 5-2. And losing to the Leftovers in a reverse sweep 3-2 has got to feel bad. We already mentioned that it looked like Method was on full tilt at that point. So up to that, before that though, is there like a consolation prize? Is there a silver lining? Like they swept Heroes Hearth. That's pretty much the best team from North America. Is that a silver lining for Method, or no? They should have done better.
Are we talking about peak performance Heroes Hearth, top of the game Heroes Hearth, the Heroes Hearth that everyone hyped them up to be Heroes Hearth? Are they happy? Are they happy about beating the Heroes Hearth that we saw, or were they expecting more?
That's more of a subjective question for them themselves. I would like to hear their answers on that one. Just in general, though, if you're looking at it more objectively and just seeing, they took out the number 2 seed in NA in their first match. They lost to the number 1 seed in Europe the next match. They destroyed the number 1 seed in NA the next match, and then they barely lost. Probably to their, at this point, you could just blame conditions of the tournament, like having to play a lot of games in one day type of thing, but still being tilted, all that stuff. Like they barely lost, even if it's a reverse sweep, they barely lost. I mean, it's a 3-2. So my point being, they beat a lot of high caliber teams. Even if you just disregard the regions, they beat a number 1 team, they beat a number 2 team, and they really only lost big time to the number 1 team in Europe. So I feel like they should be happy. Obviously, they should want to do better, and they will do better. But I think they should be happy. They just have things to improve. That's all,
My line of thinking here is, and I'm just kind of putting myself in Method's shoe, is, so you take down Tempo Storm, all right, that feels good. You lose to Dignitas, you're in the losers bracket, that sucks. But then you beat Heroes Hearth, and you look at the remainder of the bracket, right? So you've just beaten Heroes Hearth 3-0. The teams that are left in the tournament at this point are Leftovers, Team Freedom, and Dignitas. I think as a Method player, you can assume that Freedom's going to lose to Dig. And you're looking at facing Leftovers and then probably Freedom in the losers finals. And I don't know, I doubt any looking beyond Leftovers happened that night. But as a Method player, you've got to be thinking in your head, like, we should be able to beat the Leftovers, and we should be able to beat Freedom, and we should be in the grand finals come Sunday. Like that I would imagine that that must have been their line of thinking. They were the favorites. I mean, if you would have taken a look at those 4 teams remaining, you probably would have pegged it Method as the second best team left in the tournament, above Freedom and Leftovers at that point.
Yeah.
And they ended up coming fourth. They didn't even get that far. So that's where I feel the disappointment comes from. That they were the favorites to at least come in second place at that point, because LiQuid was gone, Tempo was gone, Heroes Hearth were gone, and it slipped at their grasp.
I mean, of course, right? Of course. You lost to a team that should theoretically be inferior. There's got to be some kind of disappointment there, of course. I mean, losing is never going to be like. Didn't you mention this earlier? Something about
it's a 0-sum game. Like losers are going to be disappointed. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, no matter what. Yeah.
Of course, like I don't know. I'm not them, right? So when I'm speaking strictly in terms of like what I would feel from what I feel from the outside. But like, you can't be disappointed. I mean, you can't be unhappy with these results. These are still great results. Coming in fourth in this tournament of a tournament of 8, you're still in the top 4. I think that's still really, really good. And
I think, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, the only difference would have been, I guess the difference of getting third would have been $5,000. So, if you look at it from a financial standpoint, I guess that's kind of a lot. That's kind of a big difference, right? It depends on what your, I don't know what like
what your perspective is, right? Like in dirty esports money, it's probably not that much, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
I was just gonna say my line of thinking is coming into the tournament, they probably would have looked at fourth place and been happy with that result, right? They're the third European team, maybe losing a Heroes Hearth, and maybe LiQuid's a little bit better than they are, so fourth place is not so bad. But after the results in the early rounds kind of shook out, and then the landscape kind of cleared up, then all of a sudden, second place became a very doable thing for them. That's where I think the disappointment kind of comes in. But again, if you look at it like, hey, we beat the number 1 team from NA, we beat the number 2 team from NA, we finished pretty much where we expected to finish. That would be certainly a nice silver lining, where you're not too disappointed with your results. You're kind of like, all right, well, we kind of accomplished what we set out to do.
Well, 2 years ago, they beat Dignitas, the supposed number, expected to be like a top 2 team at BlizzCon. They beat Dignitas at BlizzCon. So I mean, they have the potential.
This past fall, yeah.
No, well, this was like 2 years ago. This was when they had Mene on the team. Was it 2 years ago? Anyway, so it was a while ago at this point. Dig was not the same roster, but still at the time, Dig was like top 2 team, and Method was not top 2. They were like top 3, maybe 4, and they beat Dignitas. So I mean, when I say Method, I mean Expert back then. But yeah, they have the potential. They know they can do better, and that's probably why they're frustrated. But I would still say this is objectively a good ending.
I think you're thinking of this past BlizzCon. They knocked out Dignitas, and nobody expected that. They really went on a roll, and ultimately, I believe they lost. It was KSV or MVP at the time at Black.
Okay, so yeah, I'm getting my BlizzCons confused then. Whatever.
But I know what you're saying. It's a team that has surprises with some really strong results in the past. They really went on a tear that BlizzCon. They ended up being, the second best European team, and they were a bit of an afterthought coming into that tournament. So I agree with you.
And and for me, it's like, are you coming into this tournament telling yourself, we're happy if we get third, we're happy if we get second, we're happy if we get fourth, or I mean, are you coming in saying we're gonna win, we're gonna win our games, we're gonna win games, and we want to win this thing? Like, I understand that, yeah, Dignitas is good, and it's easy to fall into that trap, that mental trap, to be like, oh, well, whatever, we don't have to be. As long as we're second, it's fine. Yeah, they're good. I mean, you can make the gods bleed, so to speak, right? I mean, you just gotta have the right mindset going into this. And I wonder if that loss, like Soken was saying, messed them up. You look at Leftovers, they're saying, we just want to win. We just want to play. We want to get in here and do what we can. And it showed. Everybody else, what kind of expectations are they having for themselves, and how big of an effect did that have on them?
There is a... I'll get a little off track here. That's okay. There is a you have to wonder how the lack of expectations for leftovers at that point in the tournament factors into their performance, where the absolute sheer magnitude of hype and expectations for Heroes Hearth may have factored into their performance. There's something to be said for a team where they went into the previous clash with very little expectations to come, as opposed to this clash where the expectations for Heroes Hearth were very high and they performed very poorly, and this where Leftovers was on the other end of that spectrum, where there were very little expectations for them coming into the tournament, and because of that, you're able to play more freely, where you pretty much with the house's chips, I guess is the expression I'm looking for, where it's found money almost.
Crowan even said it himself. He's like, this is the first tournament we actually expect things, and then look what happens, right? They do not compete where they're supposed to be, and like you said, Goon, Leftovers literally came into the whole tournament saying, we are just trying to experiment, we are trying to build team chemistry, we're trying to see where we lie, and zero expectations, came in, did great.
They literally came in with those generic HGC t-shirts as their uniform, and
we're not beholden to any sponsors. We're gonna wreck these guys. Dab.
Oh my god. What was up with the dabbing?
Those were some terrible dabs, by the way.
They were pretty bad. Link brought it back at the end, but
someone's got to send them a GIF of Cam Newton doing it right.
When he was like, a famous Swede once said that sometimes you win and sometimes you play NA, or I was like, whoa, let's bring that back. All right.
And it's Trixler even said it at the tournament himself. He's like, why did they bring this back right now? It's like 2 years old. Like, where was the dabs before? Why would you start dabbing now of all times? Like, it didn't make any sense, but it was hilarious.
You know what? They were playing loose. They were having fun, and kudos to them. And
they played their game, just like other teams said they were gonna do. And
hey, real quick. Oh wait, are we gonna hold on? Never mind. We're gonna talk about this coming up, so I'm not gonna say anything.
The next team I want to talk about is Team Octalysis. They took down rival Tempo Storm in the lower bracket 2-1 for what feels like, I don't know, like the zillionth time since last year. It seems like Octalysis, or this core group of the Roll20 Team 8, Team 12 roster, has consistently knocked Tempo out of these tournaments. Unfortunately, though, they were not able to pick up a single map against EU teams. First, they lost to Dig 2-0, and then they were swept by the Leftovers. Now, Justin was sick as a dog during their match against the Leftovers, and says he was unable to shot call. And kind of, I don't want to, give him shit, but missed out on his MJ moment, man. MJ won the NBA Finals. The flu game.
Yeah, what's the flu?
He didn't have any optimal conditions.
Oh god,
and he got it done. So Justin, I don't know, man. I don't know. No, I don't want to. I'm just kidding. I'm being sarcastic. It kind of sucks. You want to see these players and these teams playing at their absolute best to really determine who's better. So hope he's feeling better, and it sucks to hear that happened. But what do you guys think about Octalysis? What did you see from them at this tournament?
I want to say shout out obviously to Zabu Mafu, the coach for Team Octalysis. I do think that
wait, it's not Zabu.
I don't know how to
it's Zabu.
Say his name.
It's Zabu.
Right?
It is
Zabu. I'm just gonna say Zabu.
It's Zabu, right? Like the little monkey, the little lemur from the TV show.
All right. I don't know. No, but I give up, man. I tried so hard.
I think you should stick with Zabu. Zabu. All right. Yes. Yeah.
I actually
Zabu Mafu.
I got to meet him, which is cool because we talk in Discord all the time, just about what's going on in HGC and whatnot. And so I mean, props to him. I don't know if it was all him or not, but obviously he had some role being the coach. Like the drafts for those games were pretty good. I want to say, with the exception of the Stitches drafts, which all teams got shut down whenever there was a Stitches drafted, so it didn't really matter. But the Medivh Portal with the Garrosh going through and throwing people back. Like those drafts were insane. And literally had he been feeling better, probably they could have taken some of those later games, I feel. So shout out to him. Whatever he's doing with that team, I think is working out well. And they really just should buckle down this next part or phase or whatever the next thing is called, the next actual league play. They should buckle down and show everyone what they're capable of. I think that's really what they need to do now at this point.
Less talk and more action.
Yeah.
As my friend Goon would like to say.
Keeping it PC. You mean as our good friend Toby Keith would say. A little less talk and a lot. All right, never mind.
Yes. That team when things are clicking and going well for them, they are truly a joy to watch because I don't know how to explain it, but the way they pick off players, the way they just like make snap decisions and just get staggered deaths rolling. That is a lot of fun to watch their style of play. But when it's not working, it's just frustrating because it just leads to a lot of feeding. So,
also something to note: it's Draded's first real tournament. Like he was in Heroes of the Dorm, but Draded, this is his actual first pro play tournament, and so there's something to be said about the jitters and everything that come with playing in a pro tournament. Not only that, but have it playing the Medivh, which is like the hard carry of any comp that you draft a Medivh. He has a lot of pressure on himself from his team. He made a lot of good plays and then also died a lot, lost a lot of his stacks. So there's still improvement to be done there. But I think it will be done.
All right. Next up on the list is Heroes Hearth. Arguably the biggest disappointment of the tournament along with Team LiQuid. They are the top team from North America by a wide margin. So we thought. They stumbled early, losing to the Leftovers 2-0 in the first round. They then beat LiQuid in the losers bracket 2-0. And finally were swept by Method in the next round and were brushed aside and out of the tournament. What happened? I saw on the Trolls Discord, people were mentioning that Arthalon was often getting caught trying to make the big play to like turn the tide of battle, and it was really just ending up being a detriment to his team.
I don't even know. I don't even know if you could even say he was trying to make a play. He was doing something.
He was feeding. Is that how we're going to describe it?
I don't know. There were some
beating around the bush.
There were some moments where I was like, wait, is this a big brain play or am I missing something or like because I don't know why he's running between two keeps at their core right now at this very moment. But I mean, even J-How was like Arthalon, Arthalon, why? It was pretty funny.
Oh man!
I think from the last tournament they were in, so the midseason brawl. They had a lot of problems at the midseason brawl that they came to realize, and I think they hammered it out between then and then this Western Clash, and then things go wrong, and I think things started to unravel to the way they used to be. You can see some things going wrong. My highlight, my favorite player from Heroes Hearth this tournament was McIntyre. McIntyre was above and beyond what any off lane, like you'd expect from any off lane. He was doing the long range tongues as Dahaka into bushes, getting Murden picks. Like what? Like he was playing out of his mind this tournament. I would say he played the best on his team. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder how much pressure factored into their decision making, how much it affected their ability to play at the level that they play. Jijaba brings up a good point where he says he mentioned talking to Crone and McIntyre, and he thinks that they had tried to adapt their drafting gameplay too much after Screaming Europe, and it backfired on them. And it's funny that he mentions that because we mentioned it earlier in the show. Mac was on here. He guested. We did an interview with him. how they kind of just they play their game. They have a style of heroes that they like to play, and they play it. They have a draft that they like to draft, and they draft it. And they tell the other, they basically ask, they tell the other team, like, beat us at our game, not us come and try and beat you at your game. And it's interesting that it seems like they went away from that. Yeah, and I wonder why that is. I wonder if the pressure had something to do with that, like the expectations that North America had for them.
So there were some people saying that the EU meta was better than the NA meta, and that's why we were falling behind.
I wanted to ask that later, so we can dive right into that too. By the way,
I'll just touch on it real fast. They were saying that, and I'm like, wow. I didn't even see the NA meta really that much. Like right out the gate, I'm seeing things that I've never seen NA pick before.
Or EU, like it was.
Or EU, it was
completely new. It was just
different, and it's just like, okay, you guys are scrimming something. Okay, the EU guys are probably playing this. Now you guys are adjusting. Like there was no, I don't know what meta was the better meta, because like I didn't see any of these teams really play those metas. And then for a team like Heroes Heart that says play us at our game, and people give them all their picks, and they didn't even when the picks were up that we know they like to take,
like Hanzo,
they never took them. And it's just like, okay. Scrims are one thing, but like I see all kinds of crazy stuff in scrims, but we never see it in the actual games. Like I don't know.
Oh man, I don't know. Scrims must have been pretty crazy, man. With all these teams thinking they knew what was going on, Dignitas seemed to be the only one that actually had a firm grasp of like what they should be playing. And I think it just comes, honestly, screw meta. I think it just comes down to, at this tournament, people forcing their drafts on others and playing what they're comfortable with and doing it well. And like you said, they should have just stuck with their own freaking meta. They should have just, whatever they were good at, should have just done it. Like I would have been more proud of them if they played their own game and lost than if they tried to play some weird game and lost. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Remember the last clash, Heroes Hearth came in, they were playing Thrall. 4-man Crash Lightning Thrall. They were the ones busting out the Maiev and stuff like that. And then now they come into this tournament. You don't see that. And they did better at the previous Western Clash, in my opinion. They looked better. And at this one, it was just like, okay, now you're falling into that trap that now you're a top team that has to perform, and you want to be competing with these other top European teams, and then you forget who you are. You forget what you're here to do, what you guys are here to do, how you guys play, and then what ends up happening is Arthelon's running into keeps. Like, that's what happens. I'm memeing, but like, I don't know. I to be honest, like, I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting more, but I mean, it is what it is. It's all a learning experience. It's how you come back. So.
Halloran in chat says Heroes Hearth taking Garrosh twice over Johanna against Leftovers hurt his soul.
Yeah, hurt everybody.
That's a good point. And
hurt everybody.
That goes exactly to the point we were just making. Like, getting away from what we know them for, right? Like Ishbu's Johanna. Getting away from a formula that works. It is one of my most favorite expressions from work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I work for the government, and guess what the government likes to do?
Fix everything.
They know everything, man. They know exactly how to fix everything.
Exactly.
So, anyways, I wanted to next ask about HHE. What's next for this roster? What's next for this team? Is it go home, buckle down, crush NA, come back to BlizzCon ready to win some games, or have we seen the ceiling of this roster? And that's just like the old Tempo Storm. Beat North America, go to LANs, and get your ass whooped. Is that what it is? Or what can we expect from this roster going forward?
Man, I think their current roster is okay. I think there's been, in my eyes, a vast improvement between Midseason Brawl and now. If they can do that again and just, again, play their own game and make it work, I think that they are going to be fine. There's a lot of arguments, of course, for roster changes, and I'm sure I mean, it's pretty obvious what people are, I think, going to say for that. I'm not so sure yet. I feel like the current roster has a lot of chemistry that can be exploited if they do it right, and it's just practice. I mean, everyone has to be on the same page. Everyone has to be putting in the same amount of work. Are they doing that right now? I don't know. I will say I've never seen Arthalon play a Hero League game. I've never seen him on anyone's stream. I've seen Ishbu stream Hero League. I've seen Crowan stream Hero League. I've seen McIntyre stream Hero League, and I've seen BBJ stream Hero League. So I don't know. And again, that doesn't mean they're not playing. I'm not like, their mom or dad watching over their shoulder, but there are questions, and that will determine things, I think.
Soken, it's all about that 1 hour of practice. That's all you need. That is it.
That 1 hour, that one game.
That's funny because that's actually a T-shirt that Heroes Hearth sells, and then that 1 hour practice leads Arthalon into running into keeps. Just saying.
I don't want to turn this into bashing him. I just
no. I'm just like, oh.
I just like to meme him a little bit. He does it to himself though. So, Halloran, I do want to give you a big shout out, man. I remember when you put out that twit longer last year at BlizzCon about how you wanted to take casting to the next level. Kudos to you for Carpe and the Diem and seizing this opportunity to go to the Clash and doing such a fantastic job. I hope this leads to bigger and better things for you, man. You were fantastic this last weekend.
He killed it. And I looked him straight in the eyes a couple times and I gave him a thumbs up. I don't know if he remembers me or not. Probably the hat is not The hat is not helping, but what up, brother? Good job.
He looked into his soul.
He looked.
Hey, us in chat for our boy Halloran.
As he just stares past you.
he's
like not even looking at me.
He's looking at the text prompt, trying to
That's directly behind Soken. He's like, this guy is in the way.
This guy's head is so huge. I can't see what I'm supposed to say.
No, I think for Heroes Heart, what's next is all right. Hey, cool. You had fun beating up on NA during the regular season, but now NA, hey, all the other teams that didn't go were at home watching and seeing what was up, and hey, if they saw this kind of Heroes Hearth at this tournament, you better believe they're like, oh, okay.
So you're saying
they can bleed, and we can.
So you're saying there's a chance. So you're saying I've got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, right?
I don't know, right? Right, Goon?
I don't know. You tell me, Goon.
Coach of No Tomorrow, yeah.
I don't know.
You tell us, Goon.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Right now?
I'm playing Battle for Azeroth like everybody else, dude. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
Oh my god.
But
all right.
I mean,
let's pivot over to Tempo Storm. They did not perform up to the lofty standards that they set in the previous Clash and midseason brawl. That being said, there is a big asterisk on the results here. They are not playing with Psalm anymore. He left on short notice. So they've been playing with Vin. I mean, I guess roughly for 6 weeks now, but it's still in Heroes of the Storm. That is a short time. Personally, I think they will bounce back. And I think they, along with Heroes Hearth, are one of the favorite teams among NA to go to BlizzCon. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on their tournament.
You
want to go first, Goon?
There's obviously a lot to work on, mentality-wise, drafting-wise, team synergy-wise. That's all really I can say. We saw some tilt. Oh. We saw some tilt on stream, and it's
Yep.
Hopefully that I don't ever really recall. I understand people are passionate. They expect certain things of themselves from themselves. But I feel like this is a culmination of things that have happened over the past 6 weeks plus, and it kind of just manifested itself here at this tournament. How do we how do we recover from a showing like this? That's what's gonna come down to, honestly, or else, in my opinion, my fan opinion, maybe we're looking at a tempo storm that's nowhere near where they were before, maybe like a 3-4 team. I'll say it. I'll throw it out there. But
I don't think they're going to be where they're at before. Let's just be real here. So a lot of things changed, and the biggest thing is that Fan is now, I think, shot calling. I think he's the one shot calling in game. Before that was Psalm, and Cattle does, as far as I know, this is what I heard. Cattle does the macro calls, the general macro calls, and then the person in game will make the split decision. Like it used to be Psalm that made the split decisions of, oh, invade this camp, whatever, blah blah blah. Now that's Fan, and you have to wonder, does Fan have some work to do with his shot calling? Because there was a lot of Monka-esque calls that I did not agree with. There's also the comms problems that you can clearly tell, like people are not on the same page. Is that a Vin thing, that Vin is not just on the same page as everyone else, or is Fan not able to communicate the same because he's shot calling now, or like there's a lot of question marks.
Is Glaurung making some calls now as well? That's another that's what I want to know. Like how is Glaurung now?
Is he going on caffeine droughts again to like lower his tolerance and then show him for tournaments? Is that what he's doing to get himself amped up and ready? I don't know. I think they'll bounce back. I think more time to gel with Vin, more time to make the adjustments to playing without Psalm. That roster going into the midseason brawl, going into the first clash it didn't click all right away for them either. It took a little while, and then it did. So I don't think we've seen the ceiling for that roster yet. Gigi Buzz mentioning how they are adjusting to the new drafts.
The coach, yeah.
Yeah. So there are some more growing pains. I just hope that I would like to see this roster do the best that it can do and kind of hit that all of its potential. We'll see.
This is something I want to say. I hope they keep Vin. If you guys are listening, give Vin some time to grow. He already showed some promise. Like, of course, there was problems. He fed a little bit on Genji, made some bad rotations, but he made a lot of plays too. And you should recognize that. And please, obviously I'm not making the decisions, but I think and I hope they're not doing this, but I think they're just keeping Vin until Sway can play.
That is exactly what's happening. That's what's going to happen.
That makes me sad, dude. That makes me so sad. Like, I'm sure Vin is happy about it no matter what, that he gets to play on like a good team and learn a lot and whatever.
Well, it gets his foot in the door, right? So the thing is similar to like how Draded was able to kind of move on to bigger and better things, so to speak. Is like it gets his foot in the door. It's an opportunity to hop on stage and show him what you got, kid. And if he does well, he will get picked up by another team. Make no doubt about it.
I'm just sad. I don't know. I just want to see him succeed, because he's always been in the GM Hero League streams that I watch. The guy is a grinder. And I respect him so much.
There's a lot of GMs in the Hero League that you are not going to be playing the HGC anytime soon.
Okay,
just saying.
What I mean by that is he was never feeding. I never saw him feed. He always made the plays. Like, of course, we can't just say like GM equals ability to be pro, but you could tell that this guy was doing things. I think he was playing an open, if I'm not mistaken. He was on teams and whatnot.
He was,
and he was doing well there too. Like there's a lot of promise there, and so I hope that he's not just thrown to the wayside and not picked up. That would make me very, very sad. The one thing I will say is, shave that facial hair off, dude.
I like it.
Facial hair.
I like it, dude. As somebody with some pretty Monka-esque facial hair himself, I appreciate it. I think it's cool.
Oh, that's funny.
There was like a cool like Confucius look, kind of thing, but like at the same time, it didn't look very kept or something. Like just I don't know. It looked a little weird to me. It didn't look very. Put some gel in it at least or something. Come on.
Today I learned that the key to victory and Heroes is all about well-maintained facial hair. That's why I'm in silver, boys. Moving on. Team LiQuiD. What happened? What happened? Number 2 seed from Europe matched up with arguably the easiest team from North America to beat. Now, no shade on my boys at Team Freedom, but the fact of the matter is, probably looking at the teams from NA, you're like, all right, from Freedom's probably the easiest team from North America to beat. And they failed to do it. They failed to beat Freedom. They lost 2-1. And then all of a sudden, now they've got to play Heroes Hearth and losers brackets, Heroes Hearth leftovers. So they ended up getting knocked out of this tournament after only winning 1 map. This is a team that struggled to qualify for LANs. It seemed like they were constantly on hard luck, hard times, bad luck. And is this just more of the same for these guys? Like, what is it? Like, do they have the ability to qualify for BlizzCon? Like, or is what's going on? How did this happen? Does anyone know? Did any of you guys have a good theory?
Yo, that first game, they utterly destroyed Team Freedom. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, I was so happy because, like, I like Team Freedom, and I've said before in many tweets the last couple days, there was not a single team I wanted to lose. I wasn't ever, like, really rooting for anyone particularly, but I do love Team LiQuiD. LiQuiD Nurok is one of my favorite players just in general. And so I was like hoping they would come out strong, like not be that team that they usually are where they slowly ramp up and then by the time they're ramped up, they lose. And that's it. It's like they came out strong. They literally destroyed Team Freedom. And I was like, wow, okay, well, we know what's going to happen now. They're at their full power level, like over 9,000. And then they just choked. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I honestly don't. Maybe it was tilt. I couldn't tell you.
I'm so disappointed because it's a roster. The core of this roster is a roster I like. They're my team in Europe. Obviously, I was rooting for Freedom when they played Freedom, but it's a team I want to see success from. It's a team that hasn't had it for a long time since the last time that they saw it was when they were misfits. It's disappointing. It's depressing. And part of me wonders, like, feels like their record is better than they actually are. Like they've won these matches against teams in the EU HGC, but they've kind of like barely won them, if that makes sense. It's a lot of winning, like clutching out a lot of best of fives. I'd like to see them put it together and go on a run in the second half here and be the second best team in Europe, assuming Diggs continues to be first. But I have concerns. What do you think, Greg?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, Soken.
Yeah,
so you're here. You are the guest. You were there in person. You go.
I'm just gonna say general stuff. Like, there's a lot of role changes going on. So, what do you think, Goon?
Yeah, Nurok's playing support, things like that. Again, for me, this was a tournament. This was a tournament that determined who had the strongest mentality out of all the teams. I mean, I guess you could say that about every tournament. However, like the mental states were very apparent. Like you could see it manifest in a physical form at this tournament. LiQuiD probably had really high expectations for themselves. Really high expectations. That being said, they dominated that first game against Freedom. And then maybe in the next games, little things were happening or not happening the way they wanted them to. Whether that's a draft, okay, that's one tilt point. Okay. Someone gets picked on a rotation, that's another tilt point. And then all of a sudden you were telling yourself that you were this amazing team that needs to be number one, that knows they can be the best, and then you start making these little mistakes, and those mistakes start to get exploited, and then now you start telling yourself well, we're the number. This shouldn't be happening to us. What's going on here? What's happening? And then that just snowballs into what you see here out of where Team LiQuiud finished. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure I'm projecting quite a bit, but that's honestly what I see, what I felt. I'm a vibes guy. If you haven't already noticed, I'm a pretty vibe guy, but I honestly had higher expectations. I thought LiQuiud was gonna do better. I thought they were gonna come in like, all right, cool, we're a solid team. We're gonna come in here and play our game and do well. But maybe their mentality going into this wasn't where it needed to be, or maybe they weren't as mentally. Maybe their mental fortitude isn't where it needed to be. But
I feel like there's a couple things going wrong. Like there's some things during the game that I'm like, is their game sense right? Like, do they understand or not understand? They obviously understand, but like, do they kind of get the feeling for what is about to happen potentially? Because there's times that it seemed like they weren't sure where they were going. Like there's either miscommunication or not the right call, or I don't know. It's hard to tell if they're tilting or not because they are like these stoic German dudes, a lot of them. And so it's like their faces never change a lot of the time. Even when they're winning, they're just the same stoic face.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to tell if they're tilting. And they could be like they could be like kind of the hero's hearth of EU, where they did come in boot camp here for I think a week or so. So they could have tried to adapt to the NA meta and then mess that up.
That is true.
So I'm not really sure, to be honest, and they don't even seem to understand either. They need to probably watch a lot of those replays.
I'll tell you what.
They said on Twitter, like, we don't know what happened. Sorry, guys. Like, what? Like...
Well, I mean, saying that, you're like, ooh, I mean, okay, you don't know what happened. We can figure that out. But just saying that right off the bat is kind of, I don't know, like, if you don't know what happened, how are you going to know what to fix? Like,
they have a coach.
Right away.
I'm hoping the coach will.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean,
Zeus.
Yeah.
Right? Is Zeus still the coach there?
Yeah. He was there this weekend.
If I was a good show host, we'd have the real insider info because I'd have some players on the show right now to talk us through this. But I don't. So because I'm not a good show host, we don't. So we can only project our vibes onto these teams.
We're going full NA, boys.
Only 1 hour a show. That's all we need. All right, guys. So wrap this up. I kind of like the Western Clash discussion. I want to start us off. I think we can all agree it was probably a pretty disappointing result for North America. I think we expected to do better, especially from Heroes Hearth. And because we lost the tournament, we're only going to be sending 2 teams to BlizzCon, which kind of sucks. I think it's fair to say that it's probably going to be Heroes Hearth as one of the teams going. Really early prediction. It's going to be a dogfight between Octalis' Temple Storm, Team Freedom, and probably the dark horse is Endemic. Out of those 4 teams, do you have a team that you think's going to make it? GOON, if you say no tomorrow, it's okay, but you're wrong.
I would like.
Okay, but you're wrong.
I would like all the teams to make it.
Oh, the PC answer.
I'll start us off. I think it's going to be Temple Storm. I think they're going to right the ship. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be Temple Storm. Soken, who do you think? Like, out of those 4 teams, if you had to pick one, who do you think is going to be that other team going to BlizzCon?
Say that again. Sorry, what was the what were the
like?
team
So
choices?
I think it's safe to say that Heroes Hearth is probably going to end up at BlizzCon. We can only send 2 though.
Okay.
So we're looking pretty much between Octalis' Temple Storm, Team Freedom, and Endemic.
Okay. I want to say actually, I would love if Team Freedom was there. Temple Storm, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have enough time to really just fix everything, and then they're going to change it anyway. So it's almost like, what do they care? That's kind of how I see it. I don't think the mental thing is going to be there. Octalis still has a lot to work on. Can they do it in time is the question. I'm not so sure. I would say honestly, Team Freedom and Endemic are the two I'm looking at, and Endemic has a really good case. I mean, they could have won that series to go to Western Clash. Endemic could have been at Western Clash. So I'm gonna actually go with Endemic. I'm gonna as much as I'm not like the biggest diehard at
Dark horse.
Yeah, I'm going with the dark horse.
The team that didn't even make it to the Clash is going to BlizzCon. I like it though. That's spicy. That's good. GOON. Who is joining Heroes Hearth Esports at BlizzCon? I like how I'm already assuming Heroes Hearth is going.
No tomorrow. But if I had to pick one from here, I would say no tomorrow. So I think I think Team Freedom.
Okay,
that's safe. Yeah, that's pretty safe choice. I think.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
All right, let's close off the discussion on Western Clash. We're running a little long here. Looking ahead this weekend, we've got the Eastern Clash to look forward to starting on August 17th to the 19th in, I can't pronounce this, but I'm going to try, Incheon, South Korea. Same style format, double elimination tournament, best of 7 grand finals with a 1-game advantage to the team from the winner's bracket. And the winning region will send an extra team to BlizzCon. So Korea is going to send 3 teams to BlizzCon, and China will be sending 2. You have a discussion topic in here, GOON. Do you want to save that for next week, or do you want to talk about it now?
Real quick. We don't... Okay. Because we kind of already discussed some of this throughout.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my cue to read that. So, I mean... And
production.
And I'm asking you guys. Okay. Soken and Bahgz, okay? What's next for both NA and EU as regions? We talked about the teams individually, like what do they need to do? What are we hoping to see? What exactly, do we think they need to fix? But as far as regions are concerned, what do you think each region has to do in order to take it to the next level, to level up, so to speak, to be able to maintain the Dignitas balance, or the Dignitas dominance, or the European Western dominance, or to be able to match up against a team like teams like KSV and stuff? What does each region need to do, or what do you see happening?
Okay, who first?
North America needs to. The top teams in North America, I feel like, need to just continue working on what they already have. I know the easy answer to make another super team like Tempo Storm was, and that was probably that got us pretty close. I think if Tempo would have had another half to play together, they would have been a real dangerous team at BlizzCon if Psalm would have stayed.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. So I think the top teams in NA right now just kind of got to stick together, keep iterating on their strategies, keep working, keep gelling, keep improving on what they already have, and keep pushing that ceiling higher, keep breaking through those plateaus and finding new gains, so to speak, in their performance. That's what I think North America needs to do.
Okay. I'll do EU then. I'll do EU.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So for EU, if EU wants to level up, this is how I feel when it needs to happen in EU. You gotta send those teams to the Crucible. You gotta get Monkey Menagerie in the Crucible, and you gotta get them out of here. Get rid of Monkey Menagerie.
Ooh.
Get rid of the bottom teams in EU. Bring in hungry young teams that will add value to the scrimming environment for these pro teams. And honestly,
black.
Huh?
I said the E-Punks black. Get them in the EU HGC. That's
It's funny that you say that, Soken, because like Monkey Menagerie, there's a stream that's happening between two teams. They're streaming their scrim so everyone can see, like, listen to comms and like stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, are they taking this seriously now or what? But anyways,
whatever, man. I'm over it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like get them out of here. They're done. They've had their chance. I love Alex the Pro G. Obviously, everyone does. His streams are hilarious, but that's not what I want to see. when I don't want to see Zool double crappy rotation on Tomb of the Spider Queen that you just get ganked and killed. Like, I'm done. Those days are over for me. Like, you're not gonna be able to keep doing what you're doing now and stay in the HGC. And it would suck if they did. It would really suck if they did. Think about it, right? You have a team that literally is like, a lot of them are in college or university, right? And so they're not focused on HGC. They don't, potentially they don't even care. From what it sounds like, I'm not sure they care. From what it plays like, I'm not sure they care. Get them out. Move on. Get some hungry people in here. Like, I want to see new people, new faces, and add that to the innovation to the new the old pro scene, and I think they'll go higher.
All right.
Lift up the bottom. Prime the pump, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. Amateur scene. Open Division comes back on August 20th. They're off this week, so no Open Division in EU or NA. They are on break until next week. Bush League, happening every Sunday and Monday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're 2 weeks into the season so far. I'd like to comment that I'm really bad at Heroes of the Storm. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you have any thoughts as guys that cast the Bush League games? And I believe you're casting this Sunday. Is that correct?
Monday.
Both of you?
Next Monday.
Monday. Both of you will be casting Monday. So you'll be casting the rivalry match that we have coming up this Monday with League of Ordinary Gentlemen taking on Best Coast Night Owls. What are your thoughts so far? Are the Best Coast Night Owls the team to beat?
I'm not going to go too much into it. We have a little fun power rankings thing coming up, and GOON is also in it. So I think we should hold that off. We have a little thing going on.
No!
So we will definitely. You'll see an article on Trolls.gg.
Oh no!
I will say this: Best Coast Night Owls are a good team.
Yes, as predicted. We all in the preview show we all said this is seemingly the team to beat, and we still have a lot of teams to kind of
Bahgz is still, he's like no.
No, like I'm not disagreeing with you guys. It's just it's so in that particular show, the League of Ordinary Gentlemen were predicted to be like the second best team, and
I know. But
we're not off to like the car's backfiring. Like we've got a flat tire. We're not off to a very good start. We're playing like cable TV right now. Like cable lube needs to turn into DirecTV lube real quick. But hey, that's partly my fault. I've got some work to do. So with that being said, I think we're gonna sign off. Thank you all for listening to Trolling HGC, a weekly podcast about Heroes of the Storm eSports. A member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network, which we stream live every week on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG. Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Next week, we will return with coverage of the Eastern Clash as we'll start talking, and we'll start taking a look ahead at Part 2 of Phase 2 of HGC as things start to heat up for the race to BlizzCon. Soken, where can people find you on the internets?
Send me your finest memes at Soken GLHF, SOKEN GLHF on Twitter. And I stream every once in a while. I aim for 1 time a week minimum at twitch.tv/Soken, SOKEN gaming. And I was hoping to stream tonight. I was not planning, this is kind of like more of a last minute thing coming on the podcast. So I might stream later tonight. I don't know if I'm just going to do a chill, like Spelunky or something stream. Or if I'm going to play some quick match. So we'll see. I'm thinking about it.
Nice, man. Thank you for coming on the show, by the way. I know it was a last-minute request. It was something that was on my mind. It was just like, I had been thinking about it for a while. I'm like, boy, it'd be nice to get Soken on since he's going to the Clash. Except I forgot to ask GOON like a month ago when I thought of it. Instead, I waited until today. So,
well, like, I was going to talk about it on the Nexus Trolls, but this is like more of the right environment for this show, being an HGC show. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. GOON, where can people find you?
All right, you guys can follow me on Twitter at GOONHOTS, GOONHOTS. That's my name and the way I look, baby. You can also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/GOONHOTS. On YouTube, I post some stuff on there from time to time. I actually got a couple. You can catch the Bush League VODs, the casting VODs, there on YouTube, as well as other stuff that, other rambling things that I do, rants that I do, and shit like that. You'll see that on there. And then you can find Soken and myself on the Nexus Trolls podcast every Thursday evening, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We talk about just general Heroes of the Storm stuff, patch notes, maps, strategies, how to get better at the game, working on our mentality when it comes to improving in the game, things like that. But yeah, I think that's it.
And guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Bahgz HGC. I retweet a lot of esports stuff. I'll tweet out my thoughts or pictures of whatever I'm doing throughout the day. You can also watch me stream on twitch.tv/Bahgz. It's fairly irregular. When things settle down in the winter, I'll be able to post the schedule every week and do some different things. But right now, the goal is 100 Hero League games this season and stream them all and get better at the game. So feel free to hop in chat, criticize my play, flame me a little bit, and light a fire under my ass so I can get better at this game. With that being said, I'd like to thank all our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, you can support us in a variety of ways, guys. We're on patreon.com, obviously, /TrollsGG. And thank you to our chieftains, Preston and Slugger, and our war chiefs, William T, Super Dave, and Steel Condor. You can follow us on Twitter at Trollin HGC for show announcements and hear the storm news, as well as find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/TrollsGG. As well, you can subscribe to our show on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or now we're on Spotify as well. So check it out. And please be sure, if you enjoy the show, leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. It's extremely important to the SEO and like finding us on there. As well, visit our website at www.trollsgg. Read our articles and catch up with podcasts on demand. And if you need to get in touch with us, Twitter DMs are open, or you can email us at trolling@trolls.gg. And with that, we will see you in the next. Peace out.
Peace.
Later.